Hey there guys, so a few people have asked me to talk about nutrition, and so in this video I'm going to discuss nutrition. So I'm someone who loves working out, mainly for the love of working out. I like watching action movies and animes and Marvel films and wondering how I can make myself faster and stronger and smarter like my heroes. That's what I'm about. I research it and then I bring it to you on this channel. But I'm not someone who's a competing bodybuilder, I'm not a professional athlete, I'm not a cover model, and so I don't need to have a really strict diet like some YouTube fitness guys. So yeah, I'm not like 6% body fat by any means, but for me that's fine. I think, you know, it's alright. You can see my abs and fairly vascular. So for me that's fine, that'll do. So I don't count calories religiously, I don't completely avoid carbs, I don't not eat until 4 p.m, but I do generally like to try and maintain a low body fat percentage if possible and to build muscle. So I've come up with a system for eating that I think is quite good for those people who want to look and perform their best but who don't want to completely change their lifestyle and maybe eat in a way that's impractical. Maybe you'll find it useful for yourself and maybe you won't. Let's find out. So there's lots of different eating plans, and as I've discussed, if you're one of these people who's a professional athlete, then you're probably going to want to stick to one of those. So some people say that counting calories is the best way to lose weight. That just means working out your active metabolic rate, how many calories you burn in a day through both just being alive and blinking and breathing, but also activity on top of that, and then making sure that you consume fewer calories than you burn if you want to lose weight, and that you consume more calories than you burn if you want to gain weight. Then there's those that count their macros, and this basically means that you work out from the major food groups, carbs, proteins and fats, how many of those calories should be dedicated to each of those things. So if you're someone who's trying to build muscle, you might want to eat more protein and a lower amount of fat and carbs if you're trying to stay lean. Or if you're someone who's likes the idea of eating more fats, then you might eat more fats. You get the idea. Then there's people who will intermittent fast, and of course that means that they're going for a certain window in their day where they don't eat, and this can vary drastically. Some people just don't eat until 12, you know, they just wake up and don't eat breakfast. Other people only eat one meal a day. I think that's the warrior diet. Then you have people who completely avoid carbs and stick to a ketogenic diet of just fats and just proteins. Then you have people who are paleo and they only eat things that aren't processed and that we could achieve in the wild. And all this is great. They've all got different positives, negatives. They all work for different people. I'm not going to get into which one's best or which one you should be doing. Like I say, the point is that for me, someone who does this for fun and out of interest, and who has quite an active social life and a wife and good appetite, sticking to any one of those is kind of not an option for me. And some people say that's a lack of discipline. Actually, I would say I'm pretty disciplined. The way I view it is that if I can't stick to a diet forever, indefinitely, then there's not much point in me sticking to it at all. I'm interested in the long term fitness, performance, etc. I'm not interested in something I can only do for a couple of months before I burn out. So what some bodybuilders and athletes will do once they have finished their competition and they're kind of in between their training cycles is they'll go into intuitive eating. And this means that they're no longer counting their calories, they're just getting a rough idea of how many calories they're eating. They're no longer tracking their macros, they're just getting a rough idea of their macros. And this is what you or I might call eating, or eating without being a knob about it. So intuitive eating does appeal to me on the face of it, but I do like to have a little bit more structure, and that's why I call what I do strategic intuitive eating. So it goes like this. I count my calories roughly for the first 2 meals of the day. So it's kind of like an intermittent fast in that it's a timed schedule thing, and then at the end of the day I relax a little bit more. So that might mean that in the morning I only eat 1 bowl of a healthy cereal, some oats.
Except when I'm bad, that is, and I have nougat pillows.
It might mean that for lunch that I have a sandwich with tuna on it and then some eggs, and maybe I'll have a protein shake on top of that, and that'll be all I eat until the evening. And I've calculated how many calories it is at any given time. At the moment I consume something like 800 calories doing this through the first half of the day, and I know what my AMR is roughly. You can only ever know what it is roughly, by the way. There's no way you can completely accurately know how many calories you burn. And then I know that I've got a lot of leeway when it comes to the evening to eat big without gaining lots of weight. So the idea is that during the first half of the day, I find it much easier to be strict with my diet because I'm trying to be productive, I've got work to do, and planning a complex meal is complicated and time consuming anyways. At the same time, I'm normally doing it in a bit of a rush. I'm normally eating on my own. Breakfast I eat with my wife, but we're half asleep, so we don't talk that much. And then at lunch, I'm just eating quickly whilst I'm filming, whilst I'm writing or editing or coding. But then for dinner, that's when my wife's home. We want to have a nice meal together. That's when we go out with friends. That's when we are hanging out, or that's when you want to be able to eat. That's when you might want to have a drink with your friends. And so by being more strict at the first half of the day, for the first 2 meals, I know that I can eat 1,000 calories if I want to for dinner, and I'm not going over my target calories. So it gives me that freedom to be relaxed, and I'm still watching it, I'm still being careful. I wouldn't eat a massive burger every single night followed by 3 Mars bars, but I know that I can be a bit more relaxed at that time of day when it suits me because I've been stricter at the first part of the day. And to make this work, I find a really good idea is to make sure that those first 2 meals are really similar. So you're always sticking to the same kind of pieces of food. Again, that might sound pretty boring, but like I say, the first 2 meals of the day are pretty boring. I love tuna sandwiches. There's nothing I love more than a tuna sandwich, so I have no problem eating that every single day. I love eggs, so I have no problem eating a ton of eggs. And I quite like my protein shake, my lean protein shake, so I don't mind having that regularly as well. It doesn't matter to me that that's boring because I can then be as inventive as I like in the evening. And by keeping it the same, you don't have to track your calories because you know you've tracked it once, you've counted once how much you're eating for breakfast and lunch, and then you know that come 5 p.m. you're going to be on about 800 calories or maybe 1,000 calories, however you've worked it out, and you've got that large budget to spend for the rest of your day. There are other aspects to my diet that I try and keep an eye on, of course. I'm trying to build muscle, so I want to eat as much protein as possible. The guidelines are to eat 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight if you want to gain as much muscle as possible, and I've gone into detail about that on my website and talked about why that is the case. Some people say you don't need so much protein, but I do believe from the studies that eating more protein is crucial for building muscle. But personally, I find that really hard to eat that much, and I find that as long as I'm eating a lot of protein, I still pack on muscle. So if I just make sure that I'm always having 2 protein shakes, a few eggs and some tuna, then I'm pretty much good to go. And if I have a steak for dinner or something as well, then that's bonus points. Likewise, I do try and avoid processed foods on the whole, so there's an element of the paleo thing in there. We all know what's unhealthy for us. We all know that Mars bars, we all know that crisps or chips, where you come from probably, are unhealthy for us, that they are empty calories, that they make us hungrier, that they spike our blood sugar. So there's no benefit to eating sweets and chocolates and things. So you don't have to be, a rocket scientist to know that if you cut out sweets and things, you're probably going to feel a little bit more healthy. Likewise, I'm always trying to make sure I get enough nutrients, and this is a big thing because one of the big reasons that we veer from our diet, that we snack when we shouldn't, that we crash and don't work out in the evenings, is because we don't have enough energy. And one of the big reasons we often don't have enough energy is because we're not eating enough nutrients. So I make sure that I get lots of fruit and veg throughout the day. When I detailed my food there, actually, I forgot. I have blueberries in the morning with my wife. In the afternoon, I have a banana. And for dinner, we always try and have 2 pieces of vegetables and a piece of fruit for evening. And I drink fruit juice. So all of those things combined plus supplements means I'm getting a lot of vitamins and minerals. And I will say that you feel more energetic. There are lots of benefits. Vitamin C is said to help improve muscle recovery, and eating anything that's going to boost nitric oxide will mean that your blood flow will be better, you'll deliver more nutrients to your muscles. I take amino acids and BCAAs to try and help muscles to recover more and to avoid my muscles being cannibalized when I'm going low calorie at the first half of the day, etc. I consume creatine, which boosts my energy levels. So just by making sure you're getting lots of this stuff, you just feel your best. The problem is when you're reading about all these supplements and all these nutrients and all these great superfoods, is it can seem like you need to eat everything. Like, this seaweed will make you die, not as soon. And this amazing weird fruit will give you super IQ, and this one will make you burn fat, and this one will make you build twice as much muscle. And you're like, how can I eat all this stuff? Well, don't worry about that. Just make sure you're getting lots of good nutrients so you feel and perform your best. And that does make a huge difference and makes it much easier to stick to the other aspects of your diet. I have a multivitamin as well, and in particular I find that when I have lots of vitamin C, that's something that gives me way more energy. That might just be me personally, but when I consume lots of apple juice and take a vitamin tablet with a big dose of vitamin C, I feel so much better, and my mood is so much better as well, which makes sense because vitamin C boosts serotonin. I've talked about Cordyceps before on this channel. That's a supplement that helps to fight adrenal fatigue and 21st century syndrome, as they call it now. And I really like lutein for boosting energy and the marathon enzyme. And I'm a big fan of creatine, as I've said. It adds extra muscle weight with water retention, and it boosts your focus and your IQ and your energy in the gym. All these things can help. Oh, one more, omega-3 fatty acid is absolutely crucial. That's one of the reasons I like tuna so much. Omega-3 fatty acid reduces inflammation, it improves cell membrane permeability so your cells can communicate better, and I was reading recently that it encourages myelination of your neurons, which could actually speed up your thoughts. So if that doesn't sound good, I don't know what does. So get lots of nutrients. So yeah, to summarize, what I do is that I eat the same meals for breakfast and lunch, which I've calculated the calories of and I keep fairly low. And that then gives me the freedom to eat more in the evenings. On top of this, I make sure I get lots of protein, lots of nutrients, and not so much in terms of processed foods, ready-made meals, Mars bars and chips. It's a pretty simple eating plan, but hopefully it's one that gives you enough structure to make sure you're losing or gaining weight, whilst at the same time not taking up too much of your time.
If you'd like to see a complete breakdown of exactly what I eat every day, pretty much, then you can find that on thebioneer.com. The link will be down in the description below, so click that if you're interested.
So give it a try if you like, and hopefully you'll find it useful. And if not, hopefully it's just shown you that you don't have to choose between being completely strict and rigid with your diet or being so relaxed that you just eat whatever. There is an in-between middle ground, which is just to have these loose rules, a kind of strategic, intuitive eating. Thanks a ton for watching, guys. I hope you found it useful and interesting. If you did, then please consider leaving a like. It really helps me out. Please check me out on social media down below, particularly Instagram. That's where I post most often. I'd love to see you there. Let me know in the comments down below how you eat, or if I've made any mistakes, or if you've got any comments. And subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more like this. More on fitness, more on nutrition, on health, on brain training, productivity, nootropics, technology, transhumanism, that sort of stuff. If that sounds good, then I'll see you next time. Thanks a ton for watching, and bye for now.
Now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs, so I'm roughly the size of a